in 6 different places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 or 6 different places. Anyway, if you could see my camera setup, you'd be like, yo, what are you doing? But anyway, I want to come in real quick and talk about a couple of things. I don't even know if I'm live yet on the Facebook. If I am, hey Facebook, how y'all doing? Facebook, my Shift Queens group, YouTube. Hey, I think this is IG up here and this is TikTok down here. So if you follow me on any platforms, you'll see this. But I want to pop in real quick and share a message. Hey, Jamie. Um, so here's where I've been the last several months. You guys have been following me. You know, I'm 52 years old. The divorce papers have finally been filed. So there's a couple months before it's official. And people keep telling me that I'm going to feel different about it once it happens. Somebody told me I was going to feel different once I signed the papers. I didn't. I didn't feel any type of way when I signed my divorce papers. But someone said I was going to feel different once the divorce was final. That's yet to be seen. But I will be sure to pop in and let you all know. The way that I've been very transparent in my life in this journey, please know you will know what's going on. But what I found is, as it relates to my transparency, right? Not everybody is ready for that jelly. Not everybody is ready for the jelly. They're not ready for the truth of the situation. Oh, I have some people popping in on Facebook. If you're popping on Facebook, say hey. Thank you. Thank you. She said, I love your lashes. I'm going to try to keep up with the comments. But what I found is me being 52 years old and divorcing after nearly 30 years together. And when I say 30 years, I mean like our 30th year of meeting anniversary is like next week. So we were together almost 30 years. We have 4 children. All of them are grown. Some people seem to be thinking that I have little children. I don't know why, but all of my kids are grown. My oldest is almost 30. Um, but I've had people pop into some of my comment section, particularly on TikTok and IG. So this is for you guys. Facebook, y'all know me. We've been rocking together for about 10, 12 years. IG and TikTok, they are different to me. They're different to me, right? And so what I'm getting is I'm getting a lot of really positive supports, right? I'm getting supports. I'm getting people saying things like, this is my story. I'm experiencing the same thing. I'm going through something. I wish that I had this when I was going through that. I wish there was somebody who could speak to my journey. And thank you for the messaging, because the healing, right? The healing journey, which is what I'm on. The healing journey is, it's a very complicated, it's a very messy, it's a very interesting space to be in, right? And so I've been very unapologetic about the fact that I'm happy, that I have joy, that I am healing. And what I'm finding is there are a lot, I won't say a lot, because there's more positives, especially more with men, right? More positive men who are hitting up my inbox saying things like, yo, Queen, I'm going through the same thing. And I appreciate your voice. I appreciate your take on the matter. I appreciate what you're sharing. But then there are the ones who come through, y'all. And they come through full of audacity and ignorance. Audacity and ignorance. And so what I found is that there are people who would, um, and I knew this. We all know this. We all knew this. I see Chili Shell said, you are so needed. I thank God for you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Hey, Ron from Alabama. How are you? Hey, Ron from Alabama. I'm actually sitting in Alabama right now. But here's the thing that I find, right? When you are transparent, when you are allow yourself to be vulnerable for the sake of um, sharing with other people in the hopes of helping them, right? The underestimated woman said, you know how to gather them with the quickness, though. Listen, I do if I need to. I'm trying to I'm trying to let them be, because they're all doing their things, right? But yes, they don't know. They don't know. I will gather you. I will gather you. But I put my energy more so into the people who are in need of what it is that I bring when I show up in this way, right? I come through this process. I talk to you guys all the time about the fact that this has been the healing process has been a long healing process for me. It's been a long process. And when I say it's been a long process, I'm going back to 2015 when I first started dealing with anxiety and depression, and it was crippling me in a way that most people didn't recognize, because I was still able to show up as a coach, right? As a coach, y'all look at my gift. A friend brought me this gift. It's a life coach. I'm a coach, I'm a therapist. I know how to show up for other people, but I was really struggling with how to show up for myself when I was struggling, right? When I was struggling, when I was in a season of struggle, when I was in a season of wanting to give up, when I was in a season of not believing that it would get better, right? I had to fight through a lot of things. And because I fought through so much, now that I'm on the other side, not that I now that I've gotten my breakthrough, I feel it's incumbent upon me to go back and show people like, yo, even in the moments where you feel you're most broken, you can still come out the other side. You're going to have to fight like hell for it. You're going to have to fight like hell for it. Ask me how I know. Like I fought for my breakthrough. And so what I'm finding is when I'm on the other side of this, right? I'm on the other side of this. I'm in the healing. I did a post on IG that got the men's panties in a bunch, y'all. Basically, it was just me saying, "Hey, who finally signed their divorce papers? Me." Y'all know that TikTok trend. It's me. Like I signed the divorce papers, and the men's who are coming out and telling me how I'm destroying the black family, how I am doing all the things that I shouldn't be doing, how it's been detrimental to my children, about how I should fight harder, how I should apologize for it. And I'm like, no, that's not how we roll. Hey there, Mr. Boyd. That's not how we roll. That's not how we do that. So here's what I do. I show up as evidence that it can be done, right? I struggled. When I tell you I struggled, someone said, Kimberly said, I'm in that season now, right? I struggled through the process, and I didn't struggle to get to this other side just to be at this other side, because I recognize and I know how God designed me and how He designed me to use my story and my testimony to help other people. So I have people, let me tell y'all, ooh, child, the men's is coming through with God hates divorce. I can't tell you how many times I done heard that God hates divorce. God hates divorce. Okay, what else you got for me? Because as quiet as kept, you ain't gonna want to hear this. You pontificators, you ain't gonna want to hear this. But God was all up in this thing. God was all up in this thing. I listened to God. Oops, Jenny, what Boom Boom says God hates abuse. God hates a lot of things, but it's very convenient how people will take the parts of your story that they wish to glob onto and make it fit their narrative. And so I titled this "What's for you is for you." What's for me, what I understand as my purpose is, as someone who broke through to the other side, as someone who is representative of a lot of people, not just women. Primarily, I work with women, right? Primarily, the women are the people who gravitate more to my messaging, because what I found is there are a lot of people who are suffering in silence. There are a lot of people who are in situations that God had no hand in, and they are staying in it because of the judgment of some mere mortals. And I've been calling them some raggedy mere mortals. Like some of y'all real raggedy. I'm a raggedy mere mortal too. And I'm so raggedy that even though I have the credentials to do so, I don't go around and tell people what to do. I'm a licensed therapist and a coach. And the thing I don't do is I don't tell people what to do. But there are some raggedy mere mortals who will get on and will try and tell you what to do for you. What to do for you. All right. So this is on TikTok. I'm trying to keep up. I have a comment. Yes, God warned me not to marry my husband. I still did. God is calling me to divorce him now. And see, here's the thing. When God is speaking or when God is not in a thing, and then people want to tell you that God hates the thing that he didn't want you to be in more than he hates you being in the thing, make it make sense. But people don't when they just have this surface level of understanding. And so don't allow people who have a surface level of understanding for your situation to dictate your situation. It's not their call. It's not their call. Don't let it be. What's for you is for you, right? So Clarissa on Facebook says everything they said has was valid, but people can't generalize. Everyone has their testimony. Listen, is we have to be able to generalize, and we have to be able to generalize other people's projections, objections, their suggestions to us. We have to be able to generalize that. I have to know what's for me is for me. And I am so sure-footed in what's for me right now. I haven't always been, but I'm so sure-footed in what's for me that it doesn't bother me when somebody who has some out left, some from the left, right? Wait, the left is this way. From the left side types of opinions or suggestions for me. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that. I'm going to throw babies out with bathwater in that case. So, ooh, somebody said, what's this? Miss Meek said, happiness over history. Yes. My peace was more important than that marriage. Yes. Um, thank you guys. I see my top viewers. I see y'all giving things. And so what you have to understand is if you don't know who you are, and I've had a season of not knowing who I was. Like I've just gotten to the place where I fully understand who I am, how I've been designed, that I am sure in the ability to push back on things that are not me. If it don't make sense, if it don't make sense to who it is that God told me I was, if it don't make sense to who God told me I was, I'm not I'm not settling for it. I'm not allowing it to sit in my system. I'm not allowing to sway what it is that I know that I'm here to do, because what I'm here to do is serve the people that God called me to serve. And the people that God called me to serve are the people who are sitting in situations that he never meant for them to be in. Now, I don't think when people say don't let man pull apart what God has put together. Who said God put my marriage together? Who said God was in that? Who said God put my marriage together? And so you can't come to me without all the only details you know. And I'll say this. So I'll say this because I don't. People tend to want to villainize somebody. Like somebody commented on my Instagram, and I'm completely ignoring that comment. So if you're watching this, I'm ignoring your comment in terms of not giving it a response. But he said, "Who fucked up, you or him?" Now, if you look at, I actually posted a video that I had posted in TikTok a while ago. I reposted a video that basically said it was both of our fault. Like I own my part in the demise of my marriage, and part of it was we were kids who got married before we even knew ourselves. And so um what I do know is that there are people who feel like they have ownership of your story because they know part of it. Do not allow them to do that. What's for you is for you. When you know yourself, you are better able to say, you know what, that's not me. That's not me. That's not mine. That's your shit. God also says that nothing lasts forever. Okay, Jamie. Jen said, I don't think you were asking for their opinions. I absolutely wasn't. But here's what I understand. When you show up in the way that I do, Northern Peaches said, exactly, we have free will. When you show up in the way that I do, it invites a lot of unsolicited advice and comments and opinions, and that's fine. Like, because I know who I am, because I know whose I am, because I know my purpose, because I'm so solidly rooted in that, it does not bother me. It doesn't. Most of the time, I'm on the other side laughing at these comments because I'm like, yo, if only y'all knew. Like, if only y'all knew, like, first of all, I could eat your ass up if I wanted to. I could eat you up if I wanted to. Don't make me use my coach voice. That's what my shirt says. Don't make me use my coach voice. But I could eat like, yo, like y'all don't want to, you don't want to come for me like that. Like it ain't really gonna end the way you think it is, because I'm not a wilting flower. I'm not afraid. Like I'm practicing like being softer, but I know how to not be. So as my mama used to say, don't let the smooth taste fool you. So I don't internalize any of the shit that I see on the Facebook, on the TikTok, on the IG. It's mostly IG and TikTok. Facebook, y'all know me. Y'all know me. Y'all been rolling with your girl. Oh, and YouTube, yeah, YouTube too. YouTube too. You know what that tells me? That tells me that the people who need to hear from me are in those places most. That where I have the opposition, that's where I need to make sure that I am fighting harder and the hardest to be there. Because the people who need to hear me are the people who are going to be there. It will be easy for me to say, you know what? 2% of the people who comment have a negative something to say about me and what I do. So you know what? I guess that means that I should just shut this down and not speak anymore. There's a version of me that might have done that. This ain't that version. This ain't that version. I have been um too I've been in this fight too long. I've been through the fire. I fought too hard to let some naysayers shut me down, like some people who don't know me, who don't know about my situation. And going back to my situation, right? I can say this. My husband It's a good dude. He's going to make some woman a very happy woman. It wasn't me. I wasn't the woman for him. He wasn't the woman for me. We had a time where we may have been, but we didn't become that. We weren't that anymore. And we held on for a lot of reasons, right? Just like a lot of people do. And so I don't have to be on these apps dissing him. Was he perfect? No. Was I perfect? Hell no. Like I own that. But I don't have to be on any of these apps dissing him as justification as to why I left a marriage. And there seems to be this contingency of people who want that to be the narrative when that's not. Like you can literally leave a situation without having to villainize each other. Like I can go about my way, he can go about his way, and we could be dude. So there are things like we've had conversations, we are cordial, we are both very clear that we're both pretty reasonable people. We're not fighting about anything. So D-Max said facts, big facts, right? We're not fighting about anything. It is what it is. Like we just want each other to be happy. I am very transparent about my life. I've been this way. Um, since probably since I first got on Facebook. If you want to go back, you can go back and see. So there are people, why do we have to hear about it? Because you hear about everything else. And here's what I understand. Part of my purpose is to use my test as a testimony. My message is a message that resonates with people, that helps people to change their lives. My voice carries. My voice carries. I carry influence. This is the way that God built me. And so it would behoove me to continue to show up in this way, despite what it is that other people may want to say, despite what it is, how other people may want to be or react or to treat me as a result of. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I'm on mission from God. I'm not on mission from man. And I'm not afraid of what any mere mortal has to say. Like, yo, you really think that I'm going to go through all of this, everything that I've gone through, everything that God brought me through, everything that he told me to do, because there's a couple of men who said, you know what? You should be ashamed of yourself for breaking up your family. What about your children? My children are grown. Sir, what about your children? What about your family? What about what it is that you need to do besides trying to mansplain things? Ooh, I tell you, this sister girl, I can't remember her name, but she got brother man straight on my Instagram because he was going in trying to mansplain me. Hello, Facebook user, doesn't tell me who you are, so I can't see you. Um, but yeah, he was mansplaining to me why I needed to stay in my marriage, and I'm like, oh, it's because I'm not as a woman, I'm not equipped enough. I'm not smart enough to recognize when something's not good for me. Like I need a man to explain to me why the thing that's not good for me is good for me. Bruh, get the fuck out of here. That's what I want to say. Get the fuck out of here. But I don't say nothing. And so here's one thing I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I want to create safety. So I do have a group, Shift Queens. And in Shift Queens, there's a contingency. There's probably about 800 people in that group right now, which blows my mind. Hello, Carolyn Spence. She said, hello, Queen. It blows my mind. There's so many women there, right? There's so many women there. But what I'm going to do, I think I'm also going to create another private space because there's some people who don't want to be on Facebook. Hey, Lisa, as Licia, listening and growing. Come on now, that's what we do. I'm going to create another space. So be on the lookout. If you are on my Shift Queens mailing list, you will get your heads up as to this thing that I'm doing to allow us to have even more intimate, even more revealing, even more like this will be the space where the people will be getting the okay, I signed the papers and this is how I'm doing right now. Okay, so here's some behind the scenes of this process. That will be the place where I'll do that. I'm not doing that I'm going to move that off of Facebook, although I'll still have the Facebook group and I'll still show up in there occasionally. But there's going to be a more opportunity for more intimacy and all of that. So if for those of you on IG and TikTok, if you're not in my Shift Queens group, get in my Shift Queens group, shiftqueens.com. There's an announcement coming there soon that also gets you on my mailing list, so that you will know. So I have a question from C Plum. How long were you married? So I left, we separated 2 days before our 25th anniversary. We're technically still married, so that would put us at 26 years married. 26. We'll be divorced before our 27th anniversary. So yeah, so that's the answer to that question. Um, we talked about separating 20 years ago. Then we talked about separating again 4 years ago. So it wasn't one of those things where we just made a decision. Like one day I woke up and was like, you know what? I just decided I didn't turn 50 and I don't want to be married anymore. No, like we went through therapy. We had 2 therapists. We worked through things. We had lots of conversations. So it's the thing that people don't recognize on the other end of this. They think you just making these decisions all willy nilly. There was nothing willy nilly about this. And here's the rub. Here's the thing that people don't want to recognize. We are both better off outside of our marriage. We're both thriving, and that's what people don't want to hear. And believe me, I am team marriage. I love the institute of marriage if it's done properly. If you are in a space where you are loving properly and you are being loved properly. And I will say that I was not doing either in that relationship. All right, so someone from IG, Pink Milan, said, what would you say is the first step to finding yourself all over again? The first step to finding myself all over again was really getting to know myself and to take ownership for, let me go back. The first step to finding yourself, because it's easy when you go through a shift, right? Shift Queens is not just for people who are in divorce. So my group Shift Queens is for people who are in the middle of any type of shift. One of the things that tends to happen when you are between those shifts is it's easy to have an identity crisis, right? It's easy to forget who you are. It's easy to begin to forget what it is that you were purposed to do. So what would you say is the first step to finding yourself all over again? I would say radical self-love, radical self-acceptance, just accepting the good, the bad, and the ugly about you. Unconditional love. Like, yo, I'm at a place, and it sounds real haughty. It sounds real braggadocious. It sounds real. I'm like, I know I am dope as fuck. I am so super dope. I'm also flawed. And I own my flaws just as much as I own my dopeness. And the thing about owning your flaws just as much as you own your dopeness is it allows you to not have to hide behind a persona of perfection or persona of acceptance. And I'm in a space of if you don't accept me for all of who I am, you can kick rocks. You can kick rocks. You can kick rocks. So I hope that answers your question, but that's what radical self-acceptance. And I work with my clients that I work with. A lot of what I work with them on is really what it looks like to love themselves properly. And it starts there with not only owning your mistakes, because sometimes we will own our mistakes in a way that allows us to beat ourselves up. And I'm not justifying anybody beating yourself up. It's not productive. I'm not. I'm so anti unforgiveness. Like you have to be willing to forgive yourself. So along with me owning that, I forgive myself. I forgive people who have wronged me. There are people who have wronged me in different ways. I've been betrayed. I forgive myself. I forgive them. I don't carry unforgiveness in my heart. And that allows me to really pull away the layers at my truest, most vulnerable part of myself. That's how I can show up in these inner streets, these interweb streets, and just put my shit on display and be like, yo, here it is. Take it or leave it, because I own all those parts of me. So is me, Maria said, I'm trying to find peace and let go of the blame. You will, once you let go of the blame, you will find peace. Once you let go of the idea that somebody has to be responsible for that. Speaking of which, I wrote an ebook. So I wrote an ebook. It's called I don't know who needs to hear this, because if you're on Facebook, you know I say that I don't know who needs to hear this, but you can get it at healebook.com. I talk about that. Is me, Maria. It's name your own price starting at $3. I would highly recommend you go get it. The link is in my bio, right? Heal, Heal, ebook.com. In there, I speak about that. And in that ebook, I give you a little blurb, right? I'm always going to tell you a little something. And then I give you some questions to ponder. There's questions to ponder that will allow you to dig a little deeper. Like, what's the reason you have such a hard time with letting go of blame? And if you let go of the blame, could that be the linchpin to your peace? And if it is it worth letting go? What's the secondary gain you're getting by holding on to blame? What is that serving you? And people will say, it's not serving me to do that, but oh, it's serving you. It's serving you. Sometimes unforgiveness serves us in a way because we think of it as a boundary. If I don't forgive them, then that means that they can't come back in my life. If I don't forgive myself, that means I won't make that mistake again. And that's not how that works. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Hey, Vegas. So Jojo and Mama, and I love this because again, my sister is Jojo and my mother. How did you go about discussing the separation? It was actually pretty easy. It was pretty easy. We had pretty good we had pretty good communication, right? We had pretty good. We didn't always have the most effective communication. We didn't always hear each other, but we had pretty good conversation and communication. We talk, um, and we knew that what we were doing wasn't what we ideally wanted. I remember last the year, it was right before I turned 50, so it was July 2020. I said to him, I said, "Have you ever thought that we might be better as friends?" He said, "Absolutely." Like, I'll never forget how he said, "Absolutely." Do you? Yes, absolutely. And for me, that was kind of the starting point because I already knew. I knew like we'd probably be better as friends. Trying to make this relationship work in the way that it was, and we were really incompatible, and we were both trying, but it wasn't good enough. Um, it made bringing it up easy, and literally we'd gone on this really extended vacation together, and when we came back, it was just like, and I just said, you know what? I think we need to separate. He said, I think you're right. So for me, that's a blessing in having had the conversations up until neither one of us were fighting it, neither one of us wanted it, neither one of us had been in love with each other for years. We tried, but we hadn't, and so it made it very easy. So Kayla says, I don't think I'll ever be married, but hopefully. Don't give up hope, Kayla. Your life can change in the course of 24 hours. Your life can change. I see. Yes. Um, Somebody asked another question. I'm glad that didn't get married. My ex did me so, Warren. I did forgive him. I just don't want him. Okay. Yeah. So it's like the ability to forgive will bring peace to your life. A lot of times we think that it's about the other person. It is not. Forgiveness brings peace to your life. If I was still harboring some of the things that people did wrong to me, I would be a very angry, guarded person. I decided to forgive. Now, just because I forgive you don't mean I'm gonna fuck with you no more. But I can forgive. I can forgive. I don't necessarily have to forgive. I can forgive. And forgiveness has been a linchpin for peace. And it started with me. It started with me forgiving myself. So wait, I see a comment over here. Clarissa said, let me see, women are powerful, sister. You are so needed. Women are dying because they are trying to be someone they are not. Woo, say that again. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is what's happening. This is what's happening. That's why I titled this, What's for Me is for Me. What's for you is for you. We have very different paths. And so understanding that, right, I recognize that there are people who are assigned to my voice. There are people who will get a message because I chose to step up and share, right? There are people who are assigned to your voice, but sometimes we're not playing our position. Sometimes because we choose to humility, right? Humility for the sake of, people tell you to be humble. You don't want to stand in your greatness. You don't want to look braggadocious because people think I'm braggadocious as hell because I'm happy. They think I'm happy. I believe that some people will be happy if I was on here crying about divorcing, but I'm not. I'm healed. And part of my healing, one of the byproducts of my healing was that there are things They don't hurt. They don't hurt as much. And for some people, they're crying about things that they don't even realize are not the thing that they think that they're crying about. You want me to be crying about a divorce. Instead, I'm celebrating my healing. Instead, I'm celebrating my growth. Instead, I'm celebrating the fact that I got past a moment in time that I didn't think I was going to get through. I'm celebrating that. I'm celebrating what God has done with me, what God continues to do through me. And so I'm not going to allow some raggedy mere mortal, right? Whether that's my best friend in my inner circle, whether that's my spouse, whether that's my siblings, whether that's my employer, whether that's my random stranger on the TikTok or the IG, I'm not going to let you change the fact of how I show up, because what I recognize is that there are too many women particularly who are suffering in silence, and a lot of them have been my clients. A lot of them have been my clients. And so I had to do the work. I had to do the work. All right, so I'm checking for this other comment. Geneva says, how do I let go of this man? We've been married 32 years. I'm 52 now. I feel like I wasted my life. The hurt he has put on me. I trusted him. He betrayed me. First thing first, again, that's when we're going to go with forgiveness. Second thing is, I don't look at any part of my life as being wasted. So I had somebody say to me, ooh, you wasted 30 years with him. I absolutely did not. I lived a life. And for the times that I felt like I was in a loving relationship, I was in a loving relationship. For the times that it was good, I still experienced those emotions. For the children that I got, I would still do it all over again. So you have not wasted your life, ma'am. You are 54 years old. There's so much more life to you. I hope and pray that you are in my group. In my group, we're able to interact a little bit more. In this next iteration, we're going to be able to interact a whole lot more. So y'all stay tuned. If you're not in my Shift Queens group, Geneva, get in there. But don't allow his betrayal to become the albatross around your neck. Don't allow somebody else's betrayal or how they treated you to become something that impacts you or impairs you for the rest of your life. You let go by letting God. You let go by letting God. Let God handle it. Turn him over. Turn him over. There have been times I've had to say, okay, God, this is your child. I cannot attempt to make this man treat me in the way that I would like to be treated if he doesn't want to treat me in that way. And it wasn't blatant mistreatment, but it wasn't the treatment that I desired as a woman, as a wife. I can't allow him to do that. I can't allow this person to treat me the way. I let go. I let go. I've had people tell me things like, "Oh, you won't be able to let go. God told me you won't go let go." I was like, "I don't know what God told you, but God told me it is done." Allow yourself to lean in and let go. Okay, so let me see. What y'all got to say? Facebook, any Facebook or YouTube people have any more to say? I'm about to go follow you. Please do, sis, on all of the channels. Tracy said they can't hurt me. They absolutely cannot hurt you. When you build up your own internal what's it? You know, when your defenses are low, your immune system. So when your immune system is low, it's easy to catch anything that's out there, right? When your immune system is low, this message is gonna be for somebody. When your immune system is low, when you've not been eating the proper nutrients, when you've not been taking care of yourself, when you have allowed stress to invade your body and system and go unchecked, then you find yourself victim to anything that pops up, common cold, heart attacks, diabetes, because your immune system cannot fight. It's not strong enough. When you develop your emotional immune system, when you develop that foundation, then the things the common cold won't hit you the way that it would hit you before. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, y'all? Does that make sense? So let me see. Let's see, comments. How'd you go about divorce? All right, all right. Yeah, so get your immune systems up. Get your immune systems up. So Christine says, I'm glad that didn't get married. My ex. All right, you already saw that. That's a good starter convo. Thanks, Queen. Yes. Yes, I would, I'm a coach. My shirt says, don't make me use my coach voice. I'm a coach and a therapist. And he would forever be like, oh, don't do that therapy thing with me. I'm not. I'm just asking questions. That's what I do. I ask questions. Part of my superpower as a coach is that I ask really good questions. For those of you who are on this and think you need a one-on-one, you would like some time with me, I have sessions available. I was just telling my sister, I've had several clients that I moved from weekly to bi-weekly clients. And so now I have some spaces open. RhondaLet'sTalk.com. You can book your session there. All right. And yeah, so I ask you really good questions. So Woomfo says, divorced 5 years, I'm still in the healing process. So I'm going to ask you this about your healing process, right? Because healing, like we're steadily evolving. So I don't know if we officially cap, but you have to ask yourself, what stage of the healing process are you in? Are you in the stage where the pain is still like it was new? Are you in the healing process where you're allowing yourself to evolve? Are you in the space where you're waiting for time to heal it? I had somebody comment on one of my videos, and I reposted a response to it, I believe on TikTok. And he said, time heals all things. And I said, oh, no, my brother, I wish it were that simple. Time does not heal all things. Time does not heal all things. That's what gets people in situations where they've been married 50 years and miserable for 48. Time doesn't heal all things. Time doesn't heal all hurts. You've got to lean in. You've got to do the work. In your healing process, have you allowed yourself to take the time? One of the hardest things I do, particularly with my very successful clients, I have 6 and 7 figure. I'm not just making this up. I have multiple, I won't say multiple. I've had at least two. I don't know about the rest of them. At least 2, 3, 7-figure clients, coaching clients. And do you know what the thing is that they have the hardest time doing? Making time for their healing. They make time for everything else. Everything else. There are a lot of very successful people who are hurting underneath it all. When they go home at night, when they close their eyes, when the world gets quiet, they deal with all of that hurt because they're not really truly healing. They're piling activities on top of it. They have these fancy to-do lists that are chock full of activities and things to do and activities that they're doing. So with that healing process, right? I knew that for me, I didn't want to be reeling from this 12 years from now. I didn't want to be reeling from this. I didn't want this to be a fresh pain for years. Now, I'm telling you, I had my moments where I had to dig in and do the work. Like, it was hard, it hurt. But now I did the work. And when I say did the work, I had actually talked to another therapist who said their therapist with a therapist. They had a spiritual coach. I had community. I had compatibility. I had community. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I had accountability. That's what I'm saying. I had accountability. I had I leaned into God. I did a 21-day fast and prayed. Y'all, I ain't never, like, I was just like, Lord. And my prayer was not, God, come in and fix this. It was help me to turn this over. Help me to let this go. Help me to find the peace that I know you have for me. Help me to find that. If there's anybody or anything that's not supposed to be in my circle, remove it. And when I tell you, he removed things. He removed things. He removed people. And I've had peace ever since. And so recognize that fighting for your peace is going to look a whole lot different to you. All right, so I got Ayo said, well, my husband admitted to my son he cheated multiple times with people that was, I don't know, it's like that WS. All right, separated from my husband for 2 years, still felt responsible for leaving. He admitted to my husband that he cheated with multiple people this week. First time in years I've not had anxiety. Here's the thing I would say to that. We have to be careful when we allow other people to control other people's actions to be the thing that get us out of pain, right? We have to be, because when that happens, then that means that there are people who are their inactions will also keep you in pain. That's where, when I talk about people who are waiting for other folks to do right, other people to make amends in order for them to get their healing, you will never be healed if you wait on other people to admit things, if you wait on other people to be sorry, if you're waiting for other people to apologize, if you're waiting for other people to do that, you will never get your healing. It's like you've handed over the remote control of your life to other people. Take your remote back and recognize that even if you never get the sorry, even if you never get the admittance, even if you never get the acknowledgement, that you are going to leave it to yourself to be good either way. But I understand. It's hard when the same thing keeps happening relationship after relationship. So what I would say to that Queen La, she said, what am I doing wrong? I would say become a fantabulous student and lover of yourself. I posit that people who are in relationships, failed relationship after failed relationship after failed relationship, get in relationships like that because they don't truly know themselves. And I say this as a licensed therapist and coach who has worked with a lot of people who, just because they are old and grown, don't really know themselves. We don't know ourselves as well as we think we know ourselves. So what I would say is become a knower and a lover of yourself, Queen. Become a knower and a lover of yourself. Don't allow anybody else to tell you more about you than what you know about you or what you've assumed about yourself, right? Don't allow people to come in and fix a piece. It should not be two halves of a people. You should get 100% whole. Get 100% whole. If you're not in my Shift Queens group, get in my Shift Queens group. And then I do what's called office hours once a month in that group. And I told them I was going to do it until I didn't feel like doing it anymore. I've been doing it since December. It may be moving out of that group into someplace else, but definitely get in there because I want to continue this conversation. God help me too. Yes, God, look, ask him to help you. Ask God to help you. He most definitely will. All right, so let me see. All right. I've lost myself in others. I've settled into being a people pleaser, not pleasing myself first. Oh, okay. So mother of three. I see your name already lets me know. It's so easy when we become a mother to lose our identity in that. And so I would tell you the best gift that you can give to your children is a very whole, fulfilled, healed mother. And sometimes that means you have to do things that look selfish. Like I've been called a lot of different names on these interwebs. And my children are grown. My youngest, my oldest will be 29 next month. My youngest is 19. But the way that these people have it out here, like I am abandoning my children. But if I need to step out for 3 months to get myself together so I can come back and be a better mother and a better example of what it looks like to be properly loved as a woman for my children, and I'm going to do that. That's for them. Awesome. Yes, celebrate. I'm proud of you. Thank you. Just looked at your page. My last name is Gipson with a B. We might still be related. You're so right. We better be friends. We just can't be together, but I'm so happy. But yes, thank you for saying this. I needed this right now. You're welcome. It's better to be single and happy than married and demolished in spirit and body and mind. Absolutely. We'll say amen. Where's the group located? Right now, the group, Shift Queens group is on Facebook. I've been getting a lot of people who have some opposition on Facebook. So I'm going to be moving the group. But if you go to shiftqueens.com, and even if you don't opt into the Facebook group, it'll put you on my mailing list. I don't mail out a lot of things, but it'll put you on my mailing list. However, it is worth reconciliation and both want it. God bless. God will bless it. Oh, however, I take that if it is worth reconciliation and both want it, God will bless it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I said to God, your will, whatever your will is, God, have your way. When I wanted to leave in 2018, I talked about separating. He was fine with separating. And then God was like, nope, no ma'am. And here's the thing that the people who are trying to get on and beat me with the Bible don't understand. I'm obedient. I listen to what it is that God says to me, not what God's saying to other people. Because God didn't tell you to tell me that thing. You got that out of a Bible and you reading it. because you think that that's what it's supposed to be. What's your IG handle? My IG handle, and every way to contact me is in the link in my bio. In all of my places, there's a link in my bio with my name, RhondaGipsonWillis.com. My IG handle is R Gipson with a P, Gipson Willis. That's it, R Gipson Willis. Speak on it. I could do bad by myself without any problem. Somebody say, yes, I desperately need the coaching. All right, come through. RhondaLet'sTalk.com. And so here's the thing, even about the coaching, right? Because keep in mind, I'm a therapist. I don't want to do therapy. I don't need to go down the rabbit hole of your trauma. I reckon I've had coaching clients that I've recommended therapy to. I have coaching clients who have therapists. I'm just different. And so my coaching, sometimes people have called in and they've gotten one session, they need to process through something, and we can do that. Somebody said, please, can I join? I've been in a storm for almost a year. Join live? You want to join live? Jesus got us? Send a request. Jesus got us. And yeah, one time somebody did it on TikTok and I didn't know how to get rid of them. So Jesus got us. If you want to join live, go ahead and hit the join live. But sometimes it's the one session. You just need an opportunity to speak to somebody who is objective. I'm objective. I speak to, coaching, please. Yes. Rhonda Let's Talk, RhondaLet'sTalk.com. And you can schedule it yourself. And if for some reason you go to RhondaLet'sTalk.com and you don't see, you're shy, and you don't see a time that works for you, because I put some times in, just reach out. I have an assistant at support at RhondaGipsonWillis.com, and she can help with the scheduling. So if you schedule a time, like go in and schedule at RhondaLet'sTalk.com, you schedule, you pay. That's how you get on my calendar these days. You schedule, you pay. And then just let me know you need to change the date, and we'll find a date that works for you. All right. So I desperately need the coaching. All right. So you see, RhondaLet'sTalk.com. Absolutely. Emotional immune system. Yes. I'm a powerful woman. I won't let anyone take my joy or happy or my bless from me. Yes. Speak on that. Protected like the plague. Not the plague. You don't protect anything like the plague. Protect your peace. Happy Wednesday, scrolling through lives giving roses just because. Thank you. Appreciate that, just being Jen. It's hot out here, y'all. I'm in Alabama. It's like 90-something degrees. I wasn't planning on heading out. My sister ended up sick. She's better now. So for those who are wondering, but I hopped in my car. Well, I actually rented a car and rolled down on the fence to leave 14-year marriage. What I would say, sis, is get you if you're not in therapy, I would highly recommend getting individual therapy and processing that with somebody who is objective. She said, it's like he's expecting girlfriend quality with wife benefits. I would definitely recommend therapy or marital coaching. I don't know, So I'm a coach, and I'm not talking down on coaches, but make sure you guys are vetting your coaches, any coaches that you're doing. But any therapist, I would recommend you go through therapy. If he doesn't want to do therapy together, you do individual therapy, because individual therapy is going to help you to process it with somebody who's objective, because all your girlfriends could be like, girl, leave him. Now, I didn't have girlfriends like that. My girlfriends was like, girl, you better think about that. I had girlfriends who would, my friends were all about making sure that I was being objective and all of that. And I knew not to go to people who would what's that thing? When the people just rallying and they just want to support anything. Okay, so I'm seasoned. That's what I'm working on, knowing and lover of self. Yes. How do we get into the group? Uniquely Made, you go to shiftqueens.com, SHIFT, shift as in you're shifting from one level to the next. And the thing I tell people is not just for people who are divorcing. There are a lot of women who are in that transition right now, but it's for anybody who's navigating the transition. You go there and you fill out some questions, and my assistant will let you in. Um, and for those of you who don't want to be on Facebook, because it is a Facebook group, Facebook community, I am creating an alternate community for those who don't. But if you go to shiftqueens.com and enter your email address, it will get you on my mailing list, so you'll know when it happens. Oops. So most pastors, Kyle says, most pastors have quoted scripture for years telling folks that they heard directly from Most High. And they be lying. Some of them be lying up in there manipulating people. Don't let people manipulate you with scripture. Whew, that's why I had to get a relationship with God myself. People will manipulate you with scripture. People will manipulate you with what it is that they believe you know. I found it enjoying. Thanks. Good, 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 good. So anyway, I gotta go. Oh wait. I have a comment. Only been married like for a year and 8 months, but I'm dying in it. Oh, bless your heart. I would say to you, seek counsel, seek counsel, seek counsel. Um, to help you process through what it is you're going through, right? Seek counsel. Don't go through that alone. There are so many people who are um, suffering in silence. And when I was at the place where I was suffering in silence, because I knew early on, I was like, he's a nice guy, but neither one of us have been in love for years. I say decades. Neither one of us have been in love. And I remember just settling into it. And being like, well, this is as good as it's going to get. It's not that bad. He's a fun guy. He's a funny guy. We laugh a lot. We have a good time, right? We've made some amazing children. We're amazing parents, like in terms of we never argued about anything that had to do with the kids. But I remember settling. And for me, I had to forgive myself for betraying myself in that way. I had to forgive myself for betraying myself in that way. Marlo, thank you. Marlo said you are a blessing, much needed. Thank you. See, I show up for those of you who this message resonates with. I'm not showing up for the people who don't get it, who tell me that I don't need to tell all of that. Because if you look on my IG, you'll see occasionally there's some comments, mostly from some men. One man told me that Kevin Samuels was rolling over in his grave, and I was like, okay, thanks. Like what am I supposed to say to that? Like, okay. But for those of you who don't know if you're ready for a one-on-one with me yet, or there's levels to connect with me. The book, the ebook, healebook.com, it's a downloadable, but it also comes as a flip book. And so it's very visually appealing, but it's 10 things you need to know about this healing journey. 10 things you need to know. And one of them was, even though it may not have been you weren't to blame for what happened to you, is now your responsibility. Even though you weren't to blame, like whatever happened, you didn't do it. It's now your responsibility to heal yourself. It's time for you to do a circle audit, because sometimes the people around you are the people who are getting in the way of your healing. And there's 8 other things. I can't remember what all of them are. And then there's some questions. So healebook.com is literally, it's a name your own price. It starts at $3. You can pay what you want. I've had people pay $3. I've had people pay $5. I had somebody pay $25. I had somebody else pay $50. Pay what you want. That was my birthday gift to you all. My birthday was a couple weeks ago. So, the Celestial said, wow, this resonates. Listen, married 23 years and did 3 years of reconciliation attempt. Great adult kids. We're cool. Now it doesn't work. Yeah. And so, we did the work, man. We did the work. We went through therapy. We connected. We talked to each other. We did all that. We did the work. It didn't work. And I'm not just going to stay in something just to say I was in something. I am, hear me when I say this, the happiest I have been in decades. I am the happiest. People who've known me all my life say, you just seem so different. You seem so different. It's because I have joy. And I'm not saying that he was the cause of me not having joy, but settling in a place that I wasn't supposed to be in, it does something to you. Settling in a place that you're not supposed to be in, subjugating your own purpose for what works for other people is not where you're supposed to be. It's not where you're supposed to be. So if you haven't already gotten the book, get the book, healebook.com. All the links are in my bio. For those of you who need resources for mental health care, like, oh, she says, my son says, the first time I've seen you not stressed. That says a lot, right? That says a lot from our children. Our children, my kids say to me, both of y'all seem happier being apart. My kids recognize that their parents are happier being apart. So for the people who are saying, what kind of example are you showing your children? We're showing our children that we will fight for our happiness. So kudos to you, selected attention. Kudos to you. Thank you guys for the follows. I see you guys following on IG and TikTok. I appreciate you guys. There's a big old wasp flying around. So if y'all see me get up and run, just know that's what happened. But yeah, get the ebook, healebook.com. Healebook.com. It can very much change your life. Stacy says, will you marry again? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would absolutely marry again. I just know enough now to know how to do it right. When we got together, I was 21, 22 years old. I was 22 years old. We got married at 20, how old? 25. We got married at 25. I didn't know myself. What couldn't be fixed? I don't think what couldn't be fixed is that we were incompatible. We were incompatible. We were incompatible. Is uncompatible? Uncompatible. We were uncompatible. We made sense on paper. We looked good. People thought we were goals, relationship goals, but we both knew that there was something that was missing. There was a huge something that missing. My children asked why I've stayed this long, 26 years. Come on now. Yeah, because the kids know. They get it. So all the men, and here's the thing I will say to the very toxic men, and their approach is toxic, right? I need to get off of this in a minute because I have a call in a little bit. To the very wanting to be perceived as caring men who are coming at me in my comment section about my children, about, see, this is why I'm not going to get married. Here's the thing. Instead of leaning into the conversation and figuring out why so many women are leaving relationships at 50, they are deflecting. Instead of saying, let me understand what's going on, because I don't want that to happen in my world, they are projecting. They are saying things like, well, you're selfish, and what about the kids, and what about that? And I'm telling you, that don't faze me not one bit. Fiona said, please don't go, keep talking. Listen, Fiona, I rarely go live on IG. This is literally maybe the third time I've gone live on IG, period. My IG account grew from like 1,300 to over 6,000 in the last month or so. So I will probably go live a little bit more. Make sure you're following me, Fiona, and get in my group, Shift Queens group, because I go live in there. And, you'll see me on Facebook sometimes as well. But I recognize when people are speaking from their wounds. A lot of people are speaking from their own wounds. A lot of people are speaking from their unhealedness. A lot of people are speaking from their they're projecting their shit onto you, and I'm not going to take anybody else's shit. Like, I took enough of my own shit. I'm not taking anybody else's shit. So I say that to say, for those of you who are going through a situation, don't allow anybody else to tell you about your situation, about your prophecy, about your journey, about your purpose. Like, I understand purpose. Before I was speaking about this, I was mostly speaking as a purpose coach. I talk about purpose. What's the reason that you're here? We're all here. We're all here. So I can't pronounce your name, said, men just don't grow and elevate with us. Many stay stuck in old patterns. Woo. Sometimes we just grow in different ways, right? People also don't understand what ministry marriage is like. Come on now. Unequally yoked also plays a big difference. That's the problem in my 9-year marriage. Yeah, it's hard. I just jumped over from TikTok. I just started following you and signed up for Shift. Nice to see you, Selena. I love when people are going from one place to the next. I see you. But yeah, like there's a lot to be said. And so that's why I go back to knowing yourself. Because sometimes we connect with someone based on the version of ourselves that we believe ourselves to be. We connect with somebody else based upon the version of ourselves we believe ourselves to be. Know yourself, become a student of yourself, become a lover of yourself, become a teacher of who you are, a teacher of yourself. What I didn't understand is when I abdicated, when I just said, you know what, this this is good enough. We got all these kids. I may as well ride this thing out. When I did that, I no longer fought for what it was I desired. I didn't even try. I just gave up. I started focusing outside of my home. I started focusing on the places where I was being fed, right? So Lunge says, oh wait, Marlo says this is further confirmation, freeing, liberating. Yes. Lunge says, thank you for sharing your life. You've given me so much courage. I'm 49, been married for 23 years, but I know I've to move on from Namibia. That's Namibia, right? Africa. Thank you. And here's the thing. Um, AL says, I don't know how you came across my timeline yesterday, but I'm so glad I didn't scroll past. I'm glad you didn't either. So here's the thing, and I've said this a lot, and it was part of my fear in showing up, but God told me to show up and that he was going to elevate my voice. God told me he was going to elevate my voice to continue to show up. And so the thing is, I never want to be like someone who looked like they were the Pied Piper divorce. I don't want to be out here like, oh yeah, leave your husband, you'll be happy. No, like I believe that there are probably some of you who can be happy in your marriage. You got to do the work. Do the work on you so you can do the work on you all. And don't let people sucker you into values that weren't yours. Come on now, selected attention. Stacy said, I love this. Thank you. Selected attention said, you get depressed and hate yourself. I appreciate you showing up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because I have been depressed and I have hated myself. So Facebook user says, yes, elevate your voice. Elevate your voice. And that's what he told me. He would elevate my voice. And I believe the things that God tells me more than I believe the things that some raggedy human, mere mortal says. But you got to be real sure about that. You got to be sure who you are. You got to be sure your relationship with God. So I did a reel on IG. I did it on TikTok too. On TikTok it got about 30. Hey Rashonda, it got about 30. No, it got about 60,000 views. But on IG, that's where a lot of my IG people are showing up. A lot of the IG people are showing up from this video that I did where I was sitting in a car and I had on a green dress and I was talking about how I let go and let God and how that completely changed my life. Letting go and letting God is what changed my life. And people say, well, how do you do it? And part of it is you have to relinquish control. You have to say the things that I thought I had control over, I recognize that I don't. The things that I'm trying to push into my life, I'm trying to force things into happening. Right now, I operate in ease and flow. I operate in ease and flow. I operate in, okay, God, if this is where I'm supposed to be, clear the path. If this is not who's supposed to be around me, clear the path. And God cleared the path. He cleared some paths. And the things that where I'm supposed to be is where I'm at. And it's ease and it's flow and it's peace. So letting go and letting God just meant that I trusted him. I trust him. And I go, even when I'm in a situation where I'm not real sure how it's gonna pan out, I say, okay, I trust you, God. I trust you. Even if this hurts me, even if I know it's gonna be painful, I trust that on the other end of this, that what you have for me and how I'm gonna get through this and how I'm gonna use this for your glory is far, far supersedes what I can do on my own. And so that what letting go and letting God was about for me. It was letting go of the control. It was letting go of believing that I could outwork God. I was thinking I could outwork God. Like, yo, if I just do more things, then the things I want will happen. Well, when I sit back and start easing and flowing, I allow God's voice. I can hear God's voice. And when he says things like, I'm going to elevate your voice, I say, all right, what are we talking about? Because trust me, my divorce is not the thing I want to talk about. I'm the purpose girl. I talk about purpose. I talk about purpose and I talk about shift, but I didn't want to be talking about my divorce. That wasn't the thing I wanted to talk about. So Adam, I can't pronounce your name, Inspire says, trusting God is much more peaceful than holding on. Come on now. And when I tell you the peace that I've had since I let go, I let go. Okay, God, have your way. Have your way, because I recognize that his way is way better than mine. His plans for me, whew, I'm thinking small. So some of you, in order for you to let go, you are going to have to fully trust and put trust in God, more trust in God than you have in yourself. And I've had a lot of people who have been people of faith who don't have as much faith as they think they do. Because when the rubber meets the road, ooh, we start cracking, don't we? That's what happened to me. So when you see me in that video, that was happening. Like the rubber met the road. Like it was the opportunity to show and prove with the faith, and I crumbled. Oh, but when I rebuilt that thing back, when I got the cheat code, and the cheat code was really just turn it over. So Christine said, I got tired, make him happy. I forgot about myself. I just had to find out how I am. So here's what I would say. We owe ourselves the gift of knowing ourselves. We owe God the gift of leaning into our purpose, right? For most of us, we say things like, I don't know what my purpose is. You know what your purpose is. You've had a hint of it. It's just that the world, right, being in and of this world has convinced you that that thing that's your purpose isn't enough. They've said to you, oh, well, you're good at math. You should be, I don't know why I'm saying that, accountant. You should be an accountant. When God wants you to do something else, he wants you to serve with the gifts that he gave you, not just that gift, right? The spiritual gifts that he gave you. And instead, you're doing the things that benefit, that benefit the story that culture has created of what is right, what is good, and what we should be leaning for. Meanwhile, you know that the thing that you're supposed to do, you know what that is. Some of you know what that is in the back of your head. You're just afraid because you don't understand how it will work. I'm here to tell you, when you jump out, when you walk out in faith, when you do that thing that God called you to do, God will make the way. So that's what I mean by letting go of control. Our fear controls us a lot more than our faith. 15-year relationship, reuniting after 10-week separation is rocky, but my personal growth during separation has been massive, more connected to God than ever before. Congratulations. See, that's what I like to hear. I like to hear that when you, sometimes we need a reset. Sometimes we need a breather. Sometimes we need the opportunity to really get in relationship and community with God and ourselves without the noise, so that we can come back stronger. Now that didn't happen in my case, but definitely I'm excited for you. Was Ben? I can't pronounce your name. I had to rebuild my relationship. All right. Oh, I had to rebuild my relationship with God from the ground up. Yes. This is the Celestial said, I love it here. Yes, I understand what that is. And sometimes it's like, we out here like prodigal sons and daughters. We just need to come back. God ain't never left. We just need to come back. And we think we got to jump through all these hoops to come back. No, come back. So it's a personal spiritual journal. That's what Adam Badua Inspire said. Listen, y'all, I almost flunked second grade because of phonics. I can barely read. Definitely lost myself in these 22 years marriage. Was so oppressed, and a light just came on one day. Oh, and this light just came on one day. Yes, get to know yourselves. Get to know who it is that God created you to be. Because some of us are in situations, and I'm not just saying in marriages, some of us are in jobs, some of us are in friendships, some of us are stuck in mental places that have not allowed us to fully understand who it was that God created us to be. Hey, Pastor Dion, yes, ease and flow. Ease and flow. I'm in ease and flow. That doesn't mean that it's not easy, right? Because when I got a call that my sister was sick and my sister was in the hospital, like, yo, that scared the bejeebus out of me. Like, I was like, okay, God. And it happened to be the same day. This is why you need good friends. You need praying friends. I had a friend who said, yo, I'm being obedient. God told me to pray for you, so I'm praying for you. She couldn't reach me, so she left a message. She left a 5-minute long message of her praying for me. And then after that, I hear my sister's in the hospital. And I said, okay, God, whatever you have for me on the other side of this, I trust you. I trust you. I was scared, but I trust you. And look, it all worked out. I went to God about it, and he told me to let him and come to him. I don't get that. To let him, maybe leave him and come to him. Yeah, like I be turning people over to God now. I'm like, okay, all right, you want to act, you want to clown, or you don't want to look. I ain't even. I'm gonna let God handle you. And I don't mean this in some vengeance type of way. I just mean that, yo, God is God is all up and through this thing. So for those of you who are worried about my salvation, don't. I'm good. So Ebony says, just coming in and have a couple questions. One is wearing necklaces and bracelets wrong. That sounds like a troll. Certainly is wearing necklace and bracelets are wrong, as I sit here with a necklace on. After 18 years separated, I lost myself. Now I'm rebuilding myself, my relationship with God. Yes. Because here's the thing. I think sometimes we look for people to fill us in a way that only God can. We look for people to fill us in a way that only God can. And here's the thing. There's only so long that God's going to let you be comfortable in that. There's only so long that God's going to let you be comfortable in that. You have to connect, right? Connect with God. He is there as the source. He can power you more. Ooh. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I'm going to use this analogy. Now, I just bought a portable charger. I'm going to see if I can make it. I just bought a portable charger, right? I bought this portable charger from the Five Below. It was $5, right? It doesn't charge very long. I bought this portable charger, and I brought it because I was like, this would be good in a pinch. I could put it in my bag. It's good in a pinch, right? For my phone, when I'm using my phone. You see how I set it to charge, and it keeps stopping, right? It keeps stopping. But it's good in a pinch. Then I have another charger. I have a bigger charger. This charger cost me $40. And it says, excuse me, that it can charge my phone. It even charges my laptop 4 or 5 different times over. That charger. But the only way to have unlimited power source is to plug into the main source, which is an outlet. So I'm plugged in an outlet, right? Because I cannot get the same type of power and support from this that can get to the outlet. Some of you are plugged into people who are portable chargers from the Five Below when you need to be plugged into the outlet. Ooh, somebody, let's go over somebody's head. Let's go over somebody's head. What are you plugged into? Who are you plugged into? Get plugged into the source and you'll be fine. It was an honest question. Was trying to get insight, but thanks again. Anyway, good day. Okay, so Ebony Edwards, no, I don't think it's wrong for people to wear necklaces and bracelets or to have tattoos or any of that. I don't think it's wrong for any of that. So I'm sorry. I apologize for dismissing your question, but I get some trolls on here who sometimes come like that. But anyway, I need to go. I have a client in a little bit, and it's been real hanging out with you guys. I appreciate you. Set your notifications up for the next time that I come through. The Celestial said that was a word. I'm so glad I did this the way that I did it then. Oh, she said, Jesus, who are you plugged into? Come on now. Come on now. And that's one of them good questions, those good coaching questions I will ask. Now, who are you plugged into? Who are your sources of power? Who are you plugged into more than the original outlet? Selected attention, you're welcome. You're welcome. But if you're not following me, make sure you're following me. You can follow me on all my platforms. All my links are in the bio. Go check them out. Get the book. So she said the original source is the Holy Spirit. Absolutely, God. Said let go and let God is the cheat code. Yes, it can be hard to let go fully and fully trust. That's our struggle. Yep. Thank you. One uniquely made. Keep up the awesome work, Queen. Most definitely. But be sure to follow, grab that ebook if you haven't, healebook.com, healebook.com. If you only spend the $3, trust me, it'd be the best $3 you done spent all week. And it could very well change your life. So with that being said, I'm going to log off. And if you guys see people in the comment section coming from me, just know I'm still gonna show up because they don't scare me. They don't run me. Thank you, T. Fulton. She said that thanks for the word. They don't I know who I am, I know whose I am, and I know what my purpose is. I know what my mission is. So I pray the same for you. I pray the same for you. I'm gonna log off Facebook. Bye, Facebook, Facebook and YouTube. I'm logging off Facebook and YouTube.